If you're rewriting your resume for every job you apply to, stop. There's a difference between tailoring and dilution. Here's the test. If I remove your name from your resume, I should instantly know what role you're targeting. If not, that's your problem. Not effort, not experience, clarity. I work with federal and mid-career professionals who've applied to hundreds of jobs making this exact mistake. Let me show you what's really happening and how to fix it without rewriting your resume every week. Here's what most people do. You apply to one job, you tweak your summary, you swap a few keywords, then you see another posting, you open that same file, you adjust your title, delete 2 bullets, add 3 new ones, then another job, same file, more edits. By version 5 or 6, you don't even remember what the original said. And here's the dangerous part. Every edit feels small, individually harmless, but collectively, they erase your signal. Most people don't realize they've drifted until they've applied to 100 jobs. And by that point, they think the problem is the market. It's not. Now let me explain what I mean by signal. Recruiters and ATS systems are trying to categorize you fast. Project manager, security analyst, operations leader, compliance specialist. They're not reading your resume like a novel. They're scanning for pattern consistencies. When your language keeps shifting, your keyword density weakens. When your keyword density weakens, your role clarity weakens. And weak clarity ranks lower than strong concentration. That's called resume drift. And drift is silent. It doesn't feel dramatic, it feels productive, but it's slowly fragmenting your position. Let me make this tangible. Imagine your resume is trying to rank for one role, let's say project manager. If your experience consistently reinforces project planning, stakeholder coordination, budget oversight, risk mitigation, delivery timelines, over and over, that repetition builds density. Density builds clarity. Clarity builds ranking. Now, compare that to this. You tweak your resume for a compliance job. So now you remove 2 project bullets, add regulatory language, insert audit terminologies, then you apply for an operations role. So you shift again. Now your resume reads like some project, some compliance, some operations, some training, but nothing dominates. And when nothing dominates, nothing ranks strongly. This is the part most people misunderstand about ATS. It's not just about keywords, it's about keyword clustering and consistency. See, systems and humans reward concentration, not scatter. If I ask you right now, what is your primary professional lane? Could you answer it in one clear sentence, or would you need to explain your whole career first? If it takes explanation, your resume probably does too. And resumes don't get that kind of time. So if constant rewriting weakens density and weak density weakens ranking, then the real question becomes, how many versions of your resume should you actually have? Here's the myth. You should tailor your resume for every single job. That advice sounds strategic. It sounds disciplined. It's incomplete though, because here's the little known part. Most ATS systems don't reward variety, they reward consistency and keyword clustering. If your resume reads like it's trying to rank for 3 different roles, your match score spreads thin. It doesn't multiply your chances, it fragments them. That's myth number 1. More versions does not equal more opportunity. It often equals weaker positioning. And here's myth number 2. If I don't tailor aggressively, I won't pass the ATS. Also incomplete. ATS systems parse title alignment, recency weighting, and skill repetition. If your title says operations manager, but your recent bullet language leans to compliance analyst, the system flags mixed signals. Mixed signals reduce ranking confidence, and ranking confidence affects how high your surface is in recruiter searching results. That's not theory, that's structured data scoring. Now, back to the real question. How many versions should you actually have? Not one generic, not a new one for every job. Most professionals need 2. A primary lane, and if defensible, a secondary lane. Primary lane equals your strongest proven pattern. Secondary equals adjacent but still supported by repetition. That's it. When those lanes are locked, tailoring becomes emphasis, not identity changes. And that's the difference. Baseline extraction, it means reinforcing the same identity in slightly different ways. And that only works if the identity is locked first. Now let's clear something up. A baseline resume is not where you start. You start with what I call your kitchen sink resume. That's the version with everything. Every role, every responsibility, every environment, every project is comprehensive, but it's not positioned. And here's the mistake most people make. They apply with their kitchen sink resume, or worse, they keep editing it over and over, and that's how drift happens. Instead, you extract from it. You don't shrink it. You analyze it. Your kitchen sink resume is raw data. Your baseline resume is focused positioning. Kitchen sink resumes, multiple job types, mixed competencies, broad summaries, language shifting constantly. With baseline resumes, one clear target role, repetition around one problem type, consistent authority language, strong keyword clustering around a single professional lane. It's not smaller, it's sharper. Now, here's where people get stuck. How do I know what my primary lane is? Roles feel unclear and confusing. You've worn multiple hats. That's normal. So here's a simple extraction method. Take your full kitchen sink resume and use this exact prompt into ChatGPT or Claude. Analyze this resume and identify the top 2 most consistent role patterns based on repeated responsibilities. Problem types solved and work environments. Rank them by strength and evidence and explain why. Upload your resume and let it extract the patterns. But remember, you're looking for repetition, not preference. What shows up over and over? What did you get promoted for? What problems did you solve repeatedly? That repetition determines your primary lane. If there's a secondary strong pattern, that becomes your secondary, not because it sounds good, because the evidence supports it. Kitchen sink first, pattern extraction second. Baseline third, then alignment, in that order. Let me repeat that. Kitchen sink first, pattern extraction second, baseline third, then alignment, in that order. Now, once you built your primary baseline, tailoring becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. You don't rewrite your resume. You emphasize, here's what real tailoring looks like. You reorder bullets so the most relevant examples sit at the top. You mirror the job posting language naturally, using terminology that already exists in your baseline. You highlight the competencies that align strongest with that role. You adjust emphasis. You do not change identity. You do not change titles. You do not add random keywords just to match. You reinforce what's already true. That's tailoring. And when you apply it this way, something powerful happens. Every application strengthens your signal instead of making it softer. Now here's the part people don't talk about. When your identity is clear, your anxiety drops. You stop second guessing your summary. You stop wondering if you should sound more corporate. You stop trying to become something slightly different for every posting. Clarity reduces pressure, and reduced pressure improves performance on paper and in interviews. That's the hidden payoff of building a baseline. Now you know why rewriting your resume over and over is hurting you. But here's the part that really matters. If you don't understand how ATS ranking actually works, you'll keep weakening your positioning without realizing it. And the market won't tell you why. It will just stay silent. In the next video, I'm breaking down how ranking actually happened and what most professionals get completely wrong. Because once you see it, you won't look at your resume the same way again. Subscribe for more Mission Career Freedom strategies, and I'll see you there right here.